Hello, and welcome to the Knitworthy podcast. My name is Brianne, also known as Being Brianne on Ravelry and Instagram, and I am so glad that you're here today. This is episode number 79, and today is Thursday, February 1st, 2018. I'm doing things a little bit differently today with my setup. I have the camera a little bit closer than usual. I'm also hoping that means I won't have to wear a microphone because it's just kind of a pain to try and set up. It's really not that difficult. It's just the putting away and putting back and getting it out and everything and tangling cords. It's not fun. But anyways, so knitting, and I have knitting today. I have finished objects today. I have contest winners. I have a future knitting project I want to talk about. What else do I have? Family update stuff. So we've got stuff to talk about, people. So let's get started, shall we? Okay. So since the last time I podcasted, my father-in-law ended up needing open heart surgery. So Brian went out to Idaho to go be with him and be supportive. And he was gone for a week, 8 days. Yeah. And my father-in-law is doing really, really well. They're going to be putting him in a care facility for a couple of days, maybe a week or so that he can regain some mobility and get a little bit stronger before he heads home. But I am so glad that Brian got to be out there for that. It was just a really difficult situation, and Brian was, of course, concerned about his dad, and he got to be there for the surgery and be there to support Mike before and after. And I'm really proud of Brian, for going out there and doing that. And it's not easy to have to be in a hospital for that amount of time. And it's just, but he really felt like he needed to go. And so I know that had he been home, he would have just been a wreck. He would have been worried, and this way he got to be there and got to be a good son to his dad. So, but that left me at home with the kids for 8 days, which was interesting. We don't spend a lot of time apart, Brian and I, and the kids aren't used to having their dad being gone. A couple years ago, we did live separately for a while when Brian worked in Joplin and I lived in Branson. And he would come home on the weekends, but that was just a temporary thing. We did that for about 10 months, and that was really not fun. And the kids hated it, and Brian and I hated it, but it was just a necessary thing that we had to do for a short time. So the kids and I, we love it when our husband and daddy comes home, and every day it's a big event, and so it was good to have him come home. So that happened. I got some knitting done during that time, but not a ton, just because I was being the mom. Single moms, my hat's off to you. I would give you a standing ovation, but then you would just see belly. That's not pretty. But my hat's off to you for doing what you do. Single dads, same thing. My gosh, it's just hard. It's hard. I only had to do it for 8 days, but it was hard. And just to be the point person all the time. And it's just, I don't know. No, thank you. I'm glad that I have a partner in all this. I think that's it for family update stuff. But Brian's home, and his dad's doing really well, so that's good. Yay! Today it's 40 something. Last time I podcasted, I think we were in the negatives, if I remember correctly. And I'm wearing hand knitted socks today, but that's all my hand knits I'm wearing today. I do need to wash my hand-knitted socks because I'm like running out of them. It's a very dangerous situation to be in when you don't have any hand-knitted socks left and it's cold outside. So yeah, so let's get started talking about knitting, shall we? I'm gonna put this over here. Okay, what am I working on? I worked a little bit on my sockhead hat number 10. It's not any like visibly different than it was before. I got maybe 4 rows done, but it counts. It does. So here's the sockhead hat. This is the 10th one that I've knitted. Most of these have gone to the gift box. I have one. Do I have 1 or 2? I believe I have 1. Brian has 2. I knitted 1 for Ailish, I think, though I have no clue where that is. Ailish is my 10-year-old daughter. I knitted a couple years ago. I have no idea where that is. The rest of them have gone to like teachers and people who have requested them very kindly and who I feel are knitworthy. But yeah, so very simple pattern. It's just some knitting or some ribbing at the bottom, stockinette, do some decreases after a million years, bind off that bad boy, put it on somebody's head. That's it. That's a hat. That's all I can tell you. This yarn is from Wool Sunday. As you can see, it has some really pretty sparkle to it. Wool Sunday is no longer dyeing yarn, unfortunately. I did check on that. She is taking a break or has decided that she no longer wants to do that. That's okay. You have to do what's best for you and your family. So, although I loved her yarn and I really enjoyed getting to know her, you know, sometimes things don't work out and you can't do them forever. But yeah, so I'm excited when this is done. It's going to go into my, my scrappy blanket, my granny stripe blanket. So, I should have plenty left over for that. Okay. Next, what I worked on was my Mariposa socks. This is the first sock. I am almost done with it. Look at that. Woohoo! Last time you saw it, it was down here. I was still increasing for the gusset on these toe-up socks. And so I finished the gusset, turned the heel, and now I knitted the leg and I am on ribbing. And these are just beautiful socks. I love the way they have turned out. Although I did have a slight "are you kidding me" moment when I realized that I went to start the ribbing on the top of the leg, and I realized that on one side I had 1 extra stitch than on the other. And it was the side that the top of the foot is on. So of course I never realized I didn't have any idea that it was 1 stitch bigger, but it's not going to make a big deal. And I'm not ripping out these socks for 1 stitch. Not going to happen. Don't do it. Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows of ribbing here at the top. And I will get to about 20 and then I'll bind off using Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off, which is what I use for all of my toe-up socks. This pattern is by Wendy D. Johnson. You can find it on my Ravelry project page. She has a couple of very similar patterns, and this is the pattern that I like. It is free, which is always nice. Much appreciated. But let me see if I can get a, oh goodness, it's gonna make a noise. There we go. A sock blocker in there. This yarn is by Dana of Unwind Yarn Company. And here we go. That's what it looks like. Isn't that pretty? It is the Mariposa colorway, and it is on her Journey sock. Is that right? Let me see. Let me make sure. Yes, her Journey sock, which is an 80% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, and it comes in 400 yards put up, so which is really nice. It is a joy to work with. I've really loved knitting on this yarn. The base is just such a pleasure to knit with, and as always, Dana's dyeing is just spectacular. She has some yarn in stock right now if you want to go take a look at it, and I have something. I had a very kind podcast viewer arranged to have a gift certificate as a prize from Dana's store, and so I'm very excited to have a contest pretty soon, so we can give that away, because that's going to be very exciting. And thank you to that wonderful podcast viewer. Really appreciate it. She just went and did some pretty cool things, so I am super excited. Okay, so that is showed off. Oh, and this is in my Whimsy Stitches bag. Isn't that pretty? It matches. It was a kit that went together, or it wasn't a really kit because it didn't come with a pattern, but it was I guess it was a kit. But it was a beautiful collection of yarn and bag that went together. They were inspired by each other. So isn't that pretty? And I really like this bag. It has a really nice, nice long handle, so you can really get your hand through and, you know, hold on to it with your wrist. Excuse me. I'm getting over a cold. Oh, it just has hung on. I still have a little bit of congestion, a little bit of a cough, so I'm so sorry if I cough at you. Not on purpose. Totally not on purpose. So yes, so Whimsy Stitches bag. Love it. The last thing that I've worked on is out of a bag from Dana of Unwind. You know, I love Dana, what can I say? From Unwind Yarn Company. This is the 3rd grade crawfish socks by Lisa Beth Houchins. And I finished the first sock. Yay! It looks like this. Yay! And this is out of my handspun. That was from Walnut Farm Designs. Is that right? Yes, Walnut Farm Designs in their rhubarb colorway. And I loved spinning this yarn. I loved plying this yarn. I loved knitting this yarn. And I still have one more sock to go, so I'm still knitting with it. But I have loved everything about this. It is a beautiful, beautiful sock. And it's just a pleasure to be able to knit on it. And it looks like this on this side. Same thing, but you know, 2 sides. Might as well show them both. So yes, this is where I am on the 2nd sock. I have finished the ribbing and I have done my first cable turn. I'm getting ready to do the 2nd one here. And I have all my notes for this project on my Ravelry page if you would like to take a look at it and see what exactly numbers I'm using. I'm not giving away the pattern at all. I'm just, you know, I write down my numbers for all of my socks. That way I have an idea when I want to go back and re-knit it, or if I want to say, like, this sock fit really, really well, what did I do? So yes. And this is all the yarn that I have left. I have a feeling that I'm going to be able to get at least part of another pair of socks out of this. So I might pick a yarn, like a contrasting yarn, a yarn that goes together with it really, really well, and, you know, knit another pair of socks out of it. We'll see how much yarn I have left. We shall see. This ended up with a really good put up. I had 500 yards approximately of this 2-ply yarn, so it's definitely a very light fingering, which is okay. I don't wear my socks without I don't wear them outside or anything. Now, I do have not the most beautiful feet. I try to take care of them, but they, you know, I stand on my feet for hours and hours and hours at a time at work. And so, you know, they are, I could use a pedicure, let's just say. But anyways, so yeah, so those are my, 3rd grade crayfish socks in my beautiful bag that Dana made for me. Let's see. What else do I have? It's coffee time. Okay. I finished a pair of socks. Yay! Let me get the sock blockers in. Oops. I have not actually blocked these socks yet. I don't generally block my socks unless it's like a really intricate pattern, or unless there is like lace or something that needs to be blocked out. But I generally don't block out my socks. These are just really mostly just to show you. These are my Let Them Eat Cake socks. Look at them, they're done. Yay! I am so excited. I am so thrilled to have another pair of socks off the needles. Dancing socks. These are from, the yarn is from Dana of Unwind. This is her Rendezvous Sport sock in the Let Them Eat Cake colorway. And this is a sport weight sock which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 328 yards in the skein. And I just love these. I have two socks, and they turned out so beautifully. I am just thrilled to death with them, and they were such a pleasure to knit with. Or to knit on, I should say, and I just really enjoyed it so much. I'm so glad that they're done. So to update you on where I am then with this whole sock thing that I have going on, let me think. Let me pull up my Ravel really, really quick. Ravelry, pull up. There we go. My internet is so slow. I'm so sorry. It's just one of those things. So I still have, I cast on like 6 pairs of Dana socks. Maybe not 6, maybe it was 4 or 5. I don't know. I cast on a lot of Dana's yarn. I had the Gracie Pearl socks, my I Love Let Them Eat Cake socks, Mariposa socks, Alpine Prairie socks. That's 4. Maybe that was it. Was that it? I think so. So I still have my Alpine Prairie socks that I have not worked on in the last couple weeks, and I have my Mariposa socks, which I'm almost on sock number 1. So I am like halfway through with my Unwind Yarn Company socks. In September, if you have not watched, I decided that I love all of her yarn, and I just wanted to knit all of my yarn from Unwind Yarn Company. And so I cast on all of these socks, which was just crazy. I thought, I'll get them all done during October. It'll be great. What was I thinking? Silly Brianne. And so here it is now, February 1st, and I still have 2 more socks left that I need to work on, but that's okay. It's all good. I'm prolonging the experience. I am just keeping it going because it is so fun and enjoyable and pleasurable to knit with Dana's yarn. So, yeah, it's all good. Okay. So, next thing I wanted to talk about, let me get my notes back up, was gilding the lily. Well, so, Brian, when he was in Idaho, first of all, my goal this year is not to buy any yarn. I have a lot of yarn, and not compared to some people. I have a lot compared to some. I have not so much compared to other people, but for me, I feel like right now I have a lot of yarn. And especially since we moved last year, and all of the yarn that I want to currently work with and that have been brought into the house recently has gone into an under bed storage bin. Excuse me. Let me take a sip. It has gone into an underbed storage bin where I keep my yarn that I want to work on very soon, or yarn that has come in the last, year. And that bin is full. It's not huge, but it's full. And so I don't want to buy any yarn. Now my one caveat, I guess, is that if people gift me yarn, then that does not count. And also, when I go to DFW Fiber Fest, that will not count as either, because I will want to purchase some yarn there. But Brian, he was so sweet. He texted me on the first day that he was in Idaho and said, I found a yarn store. And I said, oh, that is wonderful. And I did not tell him to go. I did not tell him to buy me yarn, but the man went and bought me yarn on a day that his dad just needed some time to rest and did not want visitors for a little while. And so Brian brought home from the Twisted U, which that's going to be backwards, I'm sorry. Isn't that cute? So cute though? Look at that little cute little sheep. It's like a steampunk sheep. Look at that. With the little gears and stuff. So cute. He brought me home a yarn from Alexandra's Crafts, hand-dyed fibers out of Silverton, Oregon. This beautiful skein of yarn. Oh, do you see that color? It is gorgeous. This is her hand-dyed yarn. I guess this is her Newport base, which is 100% superwash merino. It's a single ply yarn. 434 yards out of 3.7 ounces, and this is the navy colorway. I'm just gonna hold that up a little bit closer. It looks like it maybe has silk in it, but it does not. It is just that gorgeous. And I think it is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful yarn. And I'm so thankful that he brought this home, because this is gonna be a pleasure to knit with. This is gonna end up being a shawl or like a scarf, just because the single ply I think will really lend itself beautifully to something that will not get a lot of hardware like a sock would. But I want this to be showcased like right up here, right by my face, so that people can just admire the beautifulness of the yarn. So I thought it was so sweet of him to be in a difficult place, mentally and emotionally, but he was still thinking of me and brought me home some beautiful yarn. Isn't that so sweet of him? I love him so much, and not just because he brings me yarn. Yeah. So let's see. There's that. I have not looked to see if Alexandra's Crafts hand-dyed fibers has any yarn on Ravelry, but if it does, I'll be putting this in my Ravelry stash, because it is perfect. And I put everything in my Ravelry stash. What can I say? I just like to have it in there. Future knitting. Let's move on. I found a beautiful shawl that's a scarf and wrap pattern. It comes in 2 different sizes. It's called Understoried Scarf and Wrap by Erin Curup. And I'm going to show you a picture of the shawl, or the wrap size, and then I'll show you a picture of the scarf size. So this is understoried, and that's the wrap size, which is, oh, do you see that? Is that not just beautiful? And then this is what the scarf looks like. Come on, little internet. There we go. Come here. Looks like this. So as you can see on one side, it has like a beautiful kind of like a tile work colorway or color patterning here, and then on the other side it looks completely different. And so I think that is really fun. I think that would be such a fun wrap. Don't you agree? Or a scarf, whatever size you decide you want to make. I would love to make the wrap size. Being a bigger girl, I like having something a little bit more substantial to be able to wrap around myself. It stays on better, it looks better proportionately to my body. And so, yeah. So, that's what I plan on casting on as soon as I can. The pattern is available for $6 on Ravelry. I still need to purchase mine. But it says, knit on the bias, both sizes of understory drape beautifully no matter how you wear them. Choose the single skein version for a lightweight scarf or the large luxurious wrap for a cozier piece. Or use the pattern notes to create your own custom size. Instructions are both written and charted, so you'll be comfortable knitting whatever your preference might be. The pattern has been tech edited in a test knit so you can cast on with confidence. I like that. So the scarf size uses 380 yards. The wrap size uses 1,120 yards. So I would need, you know, what, like 3 skeins of a sock yarn. I don't have that currently, but I have some thoughts to purchase some yarn. Ooh, I don't know. I just talked about this though. I'm feeling conflicted. I'll have to see what I have in my stash. I don't know. We'll see. I feel conflicted because I really want to cast this on because it's so beautiful. But at the same time, I would have to buy yarn. Oh. Unless I do it in lace weight. I have some red knit picks. Let me look at my stash really quick. Okay, I have some red knit picks, lace weight, lace. It's the only lace weight that I have. Knit Pick Shadow in a beautiful red colorway. It's the wine colorway. And I have plenty of skeins for that. I have 4 skeins, which would be 1,760 yards. I was going to knit a featherweight with them, but I think I've decided after 2 featherweights that it's just not the ideal cardigan for Brianne. So I think I might do that. Oh, look at you. Thank you for helping me think this through. You're so good. You're so thoughtful. And I love your ideas. Thank you. Okay, so now that that's figured out. Okay, so let's talk about the contest that we had going on. We had the Trompa socks that we were giving away pattern for, that Lena, who was so sweet and donated the pattern to the podcast for a giveaway. And our winner was Hazy Summers. So Hazel, who lives in Ghana, who definitely would need socks in Ghana. Well, you gotta wear socks everywhere, right? So yeah, Miss Hazel, you won. Congratulations. I'm going to let Lena know that you have won, and then she's gonna send you the pattern. And that's the way it works. Thank you so much to everyone for playing along, and I look forward to our next fun giveaway that we get to do. Yeah, What else was I going to talk about? I think that's it. Is that it? Let me look at my notes again. Hold on. Hang on, everybody. Yeah, that was it. Okay. So, excuse me. That is all I have to talk about today. It's a shorter podcast today, but I'm looking forward to podcasting again in a couple weeks, and hopefully I will have some more to show you, fun things to talk about. You guys can help me problem solve another pattern issue that I'm having. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I was going to tell you, my friend Michelle, that I talk about often. We had a really fun knitting get together with her and some new friends that she introduced us to. And we sat for like 3 hours in a coffee shop and just knitted and talked and had so much fun. And we celebrated her retirement, and I'm so thrilled for her. I just hope that she has like the best time and gets to enjoy herself so much. They are like travelers, like with a capital T. They go places. And I just know that, she's going to have so much fun traveling with her family, and it was really neat. I love that Michelle is really good at reaching out to people, especially to knitters, and kind of bringing them together. And that's what she did with me and Laurette. So, it's nice to have a new group to kind of get together. So, yay! We're going to do it once a month, which I'm really looking forward to, because it's always good to find new friends, right? My mom, I remember, we moved when I was going into second grade, I think. Yeah, second grade. And my mom, was talking about how it's important to have new friends, but also to keep your old friends. And she sang a song that goes, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. And I think that's still in my head, so it's always important to be reaching out to people and to be making connections, but, don't lose sight of your friends that you've had for a long time, because they're important too. So that's it, people. I hope you all have such a wonderful week, a glorious week, abundantly fabulous, and I will see you guys again in a couple weeks. And don't forget that you are knitworthy. Bye, friends.